Wyatt, I'll start
I think for me, it all comes back to my older brother. When we grew up, we had a regular NES, and playing that with him. And even though
Was that your first console?
that was my first console, was a regular NES. We jumped big because we went from NES to 64. We didn't get anything between. Now I played a Super Nintendo with friends, and I had a neighbor friend down the street who had a Sega, which had he had more violent games like Mortal Kombat and stuff. So that's why I always like to go over there. But NES was the original. And one of my funny memories I have from playing NES. Now I was super young at the time, probably 4, maybe 5, and we had Mega Man 2. Now, everybody believes, or a lot of people say that Mega Man 2 was the best of all the Mega Mans, right? And it's a very, very, very difficult and tough game. And I would play that game, and I wouldn't be able to get past the level, and I would ask my mom to try to beat it for me so I can move on to the next level.
What?
Yeah, and I would scream and cry. And I threatened my mom. I believe, so my mom would actually try. Now, my mom's like a Martha Stewart type mom.
I just cannot picture your mother playing video games.
So she was trying to beat this Mega Man, not even getting past like the first bad guy. And I was like, "You're doing it on purpose. You don't want to be. You don't love me. You don't want to get like screaming my head off."
So much pressure.
Yeah, and just when she's like, "Wyatt, I'm trying. I don't play video games. I don't know. Did you ask your brother?" She's like, "Tyler won't help me. He's a jerk. He won't get past it. He just wants to play with his friends." Like screaming, just wanted to get past it. And then I even also would take the booklet that had all the bad guys in Mega Man and ask my mom to draw them so I could color them. And my mom's not a very good artist. And I was like, "You're not drawing them good." I'm just screaming at my mom about Mega Man 2 and how she couldn't do anything I asked about.
Your mom just fucking hates Mega Man 2.
To
Probably. For
this
some
day.
reason, she's going to see Mega Man and be like, "God, why do I hate this character?"
She hears like any music from the game, and she goes in
she's
back
like,
PSD.
Yeah. We had Super Mario 3, Super Mario, Mega Man. We had also the original Ninja Turtles game, which is by far one of the hardest games I've ever played to this day in my life.
Was that like the port of the arcade version of the game?
No, this is before the arcade. So this is the side-scrolling, more two-dimensional, not the three-dimensional where you kind of go up and down. But this one, it's like, let's say you hit or killed like a flying bat. And then if you moved off stream and came back like an inch...
Actually, hold on. That's a classic Ninja Turtles
Exactly.
bad guy. There's always flying bats in that.
The bat would come back. Like they were infinite. Like it's like Doom on nightmare mode. They would constantly be there and constantly appear. And I was like, how does anybody enjoy this game? And that was back before you can save a game. So if you died, you're starting over no matter how far you got. And to this day, I remember downloading an emulator to play that game on my laptop in high school and still not being able to beat that game. I fucking hate that game. I hate it. It's just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you can play as all 4 of them. And when you lost a turtle, you go to the next turtle. Fuck that game. Fuck that game. I don't know how 5-year-old Wyatt did not throw his NES.
So what came next in your gaming history? What was after that?
Oh, that was 64. So when I was in 3rd grade, which is when the 64 came out, and we got it for Christmas. And I remember asking my mom that we wanted that game, and we found it in the back trunk of the van before Christmas. We're like, we're getting this. We're getting
the
this.
64
Yeah,
console?
the console. We found it. We're like, we're getting it. My brother and I, we're
amazing.
finally getting this system. We haven't had a
Now,
Super
how
Nintendo.
long before Christmas was this?
This was a month.
Oh.
Right, we knew about it. However,
that's
my sister, that jerk of a sister, ratted Tyler and I out and told my mom. They said, Wyatt and Tyler found the console.
What the fuck is the point of that?
Yeah, my sister ratted us out.
Who does
And
that
so
help?
My mom, trying to be clever and stuff, took the 64. I came home from school, and the 64 was sitting on the counter. This is 2 to 3 weeks before Christmas. She said, "Hey, Wyatt, I was holding this present for a friend of ours so that their kids won't find it. Is this what you wanted? Because I don't think this is what we're going to be able to get." And that's what my mom told me. And I was like, no.
She walked away and slowly tore a picture of Mega Man into
Yeah.
and
First
was like,
Mega Man down
Revenge.
And so she lied and said this was for a friend, and she was just hiding at the house for a friend and their kids. When I was like, and I believed it. So she was pretty clever on getting, and then we of course were like super pumped when we got it. In the first 2 games, we only had 2 games. We had Mario 64.
Was it a pack-in?
And Pilot
Was Mario
Wings.
64? No, Pilot Wings was the pack-in, right? Isn't that
No,
what
it
came
didn't
with
come
it?
with it.
I don't think there was a pack-in.
I
Not
know
the
eventually
original.
there was, wasn't it? Okay. So this was like right after it launched?
This was it launched and because it came around Christmas time, probably November, and
Yeah.
then that's what the 2 games that we got for it.
Did you get 2 controllers?
I don't believe so. Neither one of those games were 2 players. They
No,
were
you're
single
right,
players,
you're
so we
right,
didn't
you're
have 2 players. And of course, from there it was just every blockbuster. For those, that's an old-fashioned word. I know that, guys, but we just went to
Blockbuster.
went to
We've got,
Blockbuster.
we've got the neighbor kid in here today. Do you know what Blockbuster is, Nick?
Jesus.
No idea what Blockbuster is. This is absolutely outstanding.
Wait.
What about Hollywood Video?
Huh?
Hollywood Video? Do you know what Hollywood Video is?
Man, how old are you, Nick?
13.
13. Okay, so there's always a good barometer for how old we are. So there you go.
I mean, most of me it was playing with my brother and growing up, and him and I just getting into it. I remember I hate Mario Party now, but back when I was in grade school, my brother and I used to play the first Mario Party when he was on spring break. We were on spring break, and he was in high school. I was in grade school. We played that Mario Party game, and it was just him and I playing, and then his friends would come over and they'd play, and was just growing up playing it. And I mean, to this day, now granted my tastes have changed drastically, but I mean, just going all the way back to the regular Nintendo. I did have a Game Boy Color, and I had Pokemon Blue, which was a fantastic game. I don't know about you guys. Did you have the link cable too? Did you guys have the link cable?
I did have the link cable. I didn't have any friends
Before-
though that also
had
had
it?
a Game Boy to play with, so
Yeah.
it was always kind of like
Before internet and Wi-Fi, you had a link cable.
the kids on the commercial looked way happier than me.
You know,
That's for sure.
I did have the little light thing that had the little curly Q thing, and then it like came over and lit the top of the screen rather than
Oh,
the
I
back of
remember
it.
that.
I had that too.
I had like a really intense like book-looking thing that opened up
Oh,
and had
yeah.
speakers in it and stuff. Do you remember that?
Oh, no.
That was pretty. And it had like a mirror screen, so it made the screen look bigger. That was a pretty cool thing. All right, thank you, Wyatt. That is your gaming history, buddy. What is your gaming history? Walk us through like your earliest memories of gaming to what sort of cemented gaming as one of your hobbies today.
So I was trying to remember like what the first video game I actually played was, and I was having a hard time. I think it was like I always really liked going over to my cousin's house when I was younger because they had a toilet that gave me cookies.
A toilet?
Yeah,
I want to
Let's
dig
not
into that one.
let's not
Yeah.
just run past this. Let's just discuss on this.
it was a
What
cookie
kind,
giving
were they
toilet.
blue? Were they blue?
That seems unsanitary.
No. So I would go to the bathroom, and then when
Were
I
they blue?
when I was done going to the
pull them out of
bathroom,
the
I'd go
toilet?
and wash my hands, and I'd look back at the toilet, and there's a cookie sitting on the lid.
What? Are you, dude, are you sure you're supposed to eat this?
I ate it. Yeah.
Legitimately concerned.
I am baffled right now.
So, anyways, I like going over there because they had a cookie
Wait, do you have your cousin's like number still? Do you have that person's phone number? by
in the
chance?
phone. Yeah, I think
Can we call that cousin real quick?
about the cookie giving toilet.
Let's just call. Just put him
The
on
cookie
speaker.
giving toilet?
Oh my god.
Are you guys close enough that this won't be weird?
Oh, you know what? He's on vacation.
It's okay. This is the perfect time then. Let's just see if we can give him a call. I'm just curious about this. What does that mean? Like, so it wasn't there when you entered?
Can you Google toilet that gives you cookies and see what?
I wanna
don't
hear it
do-
straight.
What do you want me to do? Just call him and
Yeah,
speakerphone him?
kind of
Okay.
leave it close to the.
Can you hear it all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds good.
Hello.
Hey, Jason, it's Buddy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm looking at the ocean out my balcony right now.
Oh, wow.
Nice. I'm
sounds
jealous.
great.
Well, hey, really quick. I'm doing a podcast with my friends, and we were talking about our first time playing video games and stuff. I think it was at your house. But anyways, the topic came up about the cookie-giving toilet. Could you confirm
God.
that real quick?
What would you like to know about it?
Just how did it work?
It essentially worked by... I would essentially hold a cookie in my hand. I would tell you that it gave you a cookie if you used the toilet appropriately. And when you did it, I would basically hide it on the back of the tank and it would magically appear. The problem and you'd eventually start like looking for it, like, oh man, I don't know where it's at. We should look around the bathroom for your attention, so I can stick it back there.
Dude, how old
Again,
were you?
fooling you? But you were quite young in your defense.
Yeah.
But
What's the age difference
It
here?
worked for a while. I know that for sure.
How old are you, Jason?
Oh God, I'm 33 now.
He's 30. I'm 25, so 8 years.
Oh,
So I'm
my-
8 years older. Oh, just wise enough to pull it over on you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my
Wow,
god!
did
You
you-
honestly, buddy?
Truthfully.
At this point, you put it together, right? Like,
Oh, I know what happened now. Yeah.
yeah, but before
Right now-
this,
Before when I was little, I totally believed it.
for a long time,
100%.
we're like,
You
this
were,
is
you were in hook, line, and sinker, my friend.
Well, hey, thanks, Jason. I appreciate it.
toilet.
Have fun at the
Hey,
beach.
no problem.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Cookie giving toilet. It's true.
that's amazing.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Wow. I really like in my head. I was like, "How is that sanitary?
Yeah, I was,
Who sold this as like some weird potty
What
training
if he like
mechanic?
finally like learned about it right now? And
His eyes were just.
he's like his whole world's crushed.
I have to go. It's like, well, then who gives me my toothpaste?
Oh,
All right. So, what do you remember about playing video games with your cousin Jason?
Anyways, yeah, I went over there and he had one of the old Nintendos, the NES, and we used to play it. And then I think he got. I'm trying to remember how it worked. I think he got a Nintendo 64 before I did, and I played Super Mario 64. I'm like, that's really cool. So I asked for one for Christmas, and I got one. But I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. My first game was Jeopardy.
That sucks.
I was gonna ask about that.
God, that sucks.
It was really hard.
On
And
what,
even-
Nintendo?
On Nintendo
His first game for
64.
Nintendo 64
God.
was
Your
Jeopardy.
parents are like, you're going to be really smart when you get older.
Yeah.
Here's this game.
I still can't beat that game now, and I'm 25, like I said.
"Fuck, that sucks." How long was Jeopardy your only game?
Not that long, because I saved up money I got from Christmas and went and bought Super Mario 64.
All right, good. All right, cool.
But yeah, no, it was awesome. I loved that Christmas Nintendo 64. I was so excited.
So you were able to get the Super Mario game like the next day or close to it?
Like I think within the week.
within the week. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So after
Cookie giving
64,
toilet.
I can't get over that. So after 64, how did you move on, or like what are your memories of playing with friends, or what kind of cemented? Okay, I'm going to be a Nintendo fan now for the rest of my life and get every console Nintendo makes.
I think it was just that I was a fat kid and I wasn't good at sports. So it's like, well, what else is there to be good at? So I remember playing Mario Party with friends and my sisters, actually. Like, growing up, every Saturday, we would, like, start the morning by playing Mario Party 2. Mario Party number 2. That's the best
Which I
one.
honestly, I do argue is the better Mario Party. It's between 1 and 2.
Was the first
3's
one with
okay,
the-
but it starts to go downhill.
Was the first one with the cake? That's the one I remember. I think
The
that
first
was
one was with the cake.
That's
yeah.
the only level I remember to this day in the original old ones.
Yeah, number 2 was the one with, like, the themed lands where they all dressed up in different costumes.
That one was
And,
awesome.
like, yeah, that was a cool one. So I played that with my sisters growing up and then with my friends and just kind of went from there.
And I remember when I met you, you were in your senior year of college, I think, when I met you. And I knew that you were the guy that was, like, responsible for a couple of, like, Nintendo 64 get-togethers where you were pulling out the Nintendo 64 so that we could play Mario Party and Mario Kart and stuff like that again, too. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
even in college.
Yep.
Nintendo 64 is still super popular. Just
Yeah.
among-
Cool.
The annoying thing about that, I remember playing a couple of those, and especially with Brogan's wife. We would do Mario Party, but I would never play that game. And I guess maybe she got this from you, Brogan. But we would play, and there would be like a part, like everybody roll, and then you play a party game together, and you play against each other. But according to Ken, we were never allowed to practice. We had to just go right into it, and she was the only one that knew how the rules
But
were.
you think she got that from me because I never tell you
Yeah, you
buttons.
never tell the buttons. I'm sitting there like, she's like, all you have to do is pop the balloons, click, and we're like, well, how would I have to press A? Do I have to jump? Do I have to move? And you don't know. And the next thing you know, and you're like, okay, now I know how that works. Now that I've lost to you, Kendall, great job.
Yeah.
It always pissed me off so much.
Lev. Memories of gaming.
Memories of gaming. So, like, the very first system I remember getting when I was, like, around 4 or 5 was Super Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, it's interesting that these guys have all said NES is like their earliest memory. Because I'm with you. The Super NES was like the one that I remember playing the most too. Yep.
no, not the NES, the actual
The Super, the
NES.
SNES, the SNES.
So is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're right.
Okay, I was
Yep.
confused. Yeah, so that was the very first one I got. For the craziest thing is that so when I was little, I used to like tear things apart to figure out how they worked. So I tore the entire cord apart, like the black lining of the actual cord itself apart. So then I had to use. Then my mom was like, "Okay, you can't do that." Because I used to take things apart and try to figure out how they like put back together. So she's like, "You can't do that." So she wrapped it around with electrical tape all the way up to the actual port that actually plugs into the Super Nintendo.
Nice.
And so That's one memory that I have from that. And also,
that had to become eventually like the second player controller. Right?
yeah.
Like everyone had the
but
second player.
The craziest
button
thing is,
controller.
I still have that system, and I still have the same controller, but it's at my sister's house.
Oh no, the duct tape is
Yeah,
like
the duct
still
tape. Well,
intact.
it's like there's duct tape. It's not duct tape. It's
black
electrical tape, and some like what's that like? Looks like tan tape, but it's not anything.
Oh, just the regular masking
tape.
tape.
Yeah, some masking tape around it too. My sister